Hmm.
Morning, folks. Welcome to our coverage of our preview of today's racing, Thursday, the 8th of April. It's out at the Vaal, where we have a nice day at the moment. I'm sure it'll stay this way, although we've had some unseasonal weather in terms of rain in the early part of April, which is unheralded. But anyway, we've had that rain over the last few days, and there's only been 4.5 millimeters of rain at the Vaal in the last 7 days. But the track will come up as a good track, penetrometer 22. And the main Vaal track is the one that we're racing at today. False rail 0 on the back straight and on the bend, and a 2.5 meter spurt, the 600 meter mark. Good morning to you, Neil. How are you?
Yeah, I've still got a bit of flu, but battling on through it. But you're right, winter is on its way. I mean, starting to get nippy at nights, that's for sure. So we'll battle on through that. It's going to be pretty cold, I think, next week when the sun goes down at the sails. So if people are coming out, they must dress warmly.
Yeah, correct. And more on that on our other video that we did last night about the National Yearling Sales. We'll cover that extensively over the next 7 or 8 days, even 9 days, and looking forward to that. Just before we get into the meat of today's meeting, just a couple of shout outs, Neil. Firstly, to owner Terry Young, youngster. And I've got to say all the best to him, Neil. You'll be able to relate to what he's been through. He's had a quadruple bypass. Of course, we're talking about Terry, who owned the good horses Talina and Fair Model, those yellow and red colors that we remember so fondly on the tracks. And he's had a couple of others recently. But Terry has gone through a quadruple bypass down in Durban, Neil. He said that he is starting to recover. He's out of ICU and starting the healing process. But all the best to you, Terry. We're thinking of you. I know that you watch Clocking the Gallop regularly. And Neil, just from your side, well, the fact that you came quickly back to work is testament to the fact that it can be done.
Yeah, it can be done. I'm not so sure how advisable it is. As you know, Nico, that's exactly what I had, a quadruple bypass. Mine was in November. Where are we now? We're in April. Anybody who says it's a 6-week recovery, Terry, is not accurate. It's a real long process of small little steps. I mean, I still can't play golf because my lateral movement is not what it, well, you wouldn't want to. So I would say, I mean, what am I? November, December, January, February, March. So I'm coming up to 6 months, and yeah, you're starting to get back to something like your old self. Maybe a little bit physically stronger because obviously you've got a healthier heart and the heart's working, but it does take a long time. But yeah. He had his, when did he have his? Only a couple of weeks ago.
Friday. He had his on Good Friday. So less than a week ago.
Yeah, I know. I've been, it's hard, as he will tell you, Nico, if you chat to him, it's beyond describable. It transcends pain and discomfort, but yeah, it's better than being dead. So well done to Terry.
Yeah, well done to Terry. And then another note, and that's from the Fortune stable. There were those two-year-olds that ran the other day. In fact, the one 2-year-old, and there was another one. Both of them won for a guy called Keenan Jansen. But in the interview afterwards, Andrew Fortune accredited to Keenan being in his stable because of Clocking the Gallop, which I thought was pretty interesting. The fact that Andrew Fortune couldn't remember the names of either you or I was immaterial. I mean, the guy can't even remember his own name when he wakes up in the morning. So, that's Andrew Fortune for you. But he did accredit the fact that on a show that he did with us last year, straight out of that show, Keenan Jansen phoned him and said, I have to have horses with you. And now has, I think, shares in 6 or 7 horses. And he had 2 winners, Nochal, on Tuesday. So well done to that whole team.
Well done to Keenan. If he's got any money left, he should find us at the sales because Ben Mag's going back to buy another one. Whether we'll get it right or not remains to be seen. So I've had a conversation with a number of people involved in our Ben Mag Blue Syndicate, Nico, and said, are you going to buy again? And I said, well, perhaps. But as you said in our Bloodstock South Africa scene set last night, and I think it's well worth listening to that, don't go chasing horses. If horses find you, they find you. Jahan gave me some wonderful advice when we were shopping again in Cape Town, he said that the horses run out before the money does, Neil. So we were under bidder, remember, on a couple of Rafifs. Yeah, Keenan's watching. We'd love to have him part of the original people who sent him to Andrew. And that goes for everybody watching. So yeah, watch this space, and we'll put up some information on how to contact us. But it's fairly straightforward. I mean, you just neil@benmagmedia.com will get you at least on our mailing list, as it were. But Nico, I think the point is we want to buy, but we're not beholden to. If there's nothing that fancies us or fits into our wheelhouse in terms of cost, then we don't buy.
Right, let's go on to racing today, Neil. And there are 8 races on the Vaal track today. First race is off at 1:10 It's a juvenile plate over 1,200 meters. Juvenile plate, meaning that's open to winners and to maidens, Neil. And that's the interesting thing in the first couple of races, because there are horses that are having their first runs. There are horses that are still maidens, and there are horses that have won. And if you've won, you basically have to give weight to horses that haven't won or that are having their debuts. And that is the interesting factor in the first couple of races. Let's go to race 1. I'm going to bring up the betting, Neil, courtesy of our partner, soccershop.bet. And here you'll see a very short price favorite. And this is on a maiden, Neil, a horse that hasn't run, a horse called Mitch Got His Wish, who ran second to Pyromaniac on debut and is as short as 5 to 10 and has been backed in, was a bigger price, is now at 5 to 10. You've got Fisher King at 33 to 10, Retallick at 4 to 1, and basically double figures or just short of that for the others. Is Mitch Got His Wish an odds-on shot? You're on mute, Neil, I think.
Sorry, Nico. Yeah, I've got the Thursday mornings, these very nice garden service people arrive, but they've got to be the noisiest gods. So they always start right by my window. So apologies for that. Nico, only the race will tell us. But what I will say is that there's money, I think, in the next race for Quasi's Lady. So both Alec Laird horses have attracted a lot of support, and I think you've got to respect it. The horse I liked for a little bit of value, I suppose, was Roll with the Punches, who's had some exposed form. But yeah, I mean, I would look, you've missed the boat now, punters. I mean, you're not going to be chasing 5 to 10. I think it was 8 to 10 at one stage. But it wouldn't surprise me to see the son of Admiral Kitten improve further and win, because there was no money for him on debut, but he obviously showed more speed than they thought, and he's probably the right horse to go for. But I'm not going to get involved. As I said to you before we started, I'm going to try and be a little bit more disciplined in what races I choose to get involved in on these race cards.
Yeah, Neil, just my comment on it. The fact that Mitch Got His Wish finished well clear, I think they were, it was an anomaly, Neil, because Pyromaniac and Mitch Got His Wish were well clear of the balance. And I think there was as many as 19 lengths clear of the third horse, which sort of skews the matter quite a bit, Neil. And people may just be getting caught up in the fact, I'm just checking the actual distances here. Well, yeah, it was 19 lengths. So Mitch Got His Wish was 19 lengths in front of Franca. Whether you can translate that literally into the actual winning distance is questionable. And I think this price is terribly skewed. I see prices of 4 to 10 and 7 to 20. I think he was priced up somewhere in the region of 9 to 10, and he's been backed heavily. But I think Fisher King's a huge price at 33 to 10 now. Is obviously coming back down in trip, but I think the prices are wrong here. I'm not saying that Mitch Got His Wish cannot win, but I think it's a lot closer than this suggests. And even Retallick, Neil, now we tipped Retallick when he won his maiden last time out. Randall Simons gets a chance for the first time, and he's been riding terrifically well, Randall, and he's no slouch on Retallick at 4 to 1. So I don't think that there's that much difference, as the betting suggests, between the top 3 in the market.
You might well be right. I mean, all I know is that the value's gone. You know, if you got 9 to 10 about Mitch Got His Wish, probably that was right. But I would imagine now you're chasing these shorter prices. And they are babies. And you might very well be right, it's misrepresented. But of course, he does get 3 kilograms from Fisher King and Retallick and Roll with the Punches because he's a winner.
Yeah.
Those 3 winners, and he's not. So I think I'll just watch with interest.
Okay, just one final comment while your weed eater goes out in the background, and that's this horse, Let's Do It, who has got a form update, ran in his debut. I'll be interested to see if he runs again because he ran on Tuesday and he finished 6, beaten 3 lengths by Irfan's Boy. It was a good enough run because I watched it last night and he was running on nicely. And if Stephen Moffat thinks with Gavin Larena that he's ready to run today, then he might just be a fair enough price at 14 to 1 coming in with that 57 kilos today. So I think it's a lot closer than the betting suggests. Okay, let's go on to the second race here, Neil. And here you've got the Tarry runner, Marigold Hotel at 8.5 to 10. Quasi's Lady is at 22 to 10. So there's been money, as you mentioned, for the first 2 Alec Laird runners. Bella Chica is at 33 to 10, and then On Cue at 8 to 1. And that first time at Terror Time from Lucky Udalakis' yard at 16 to 1. Again, race 2, open to both, all of Maiden's horses that have had a run and not won, and then horses that have won. And Marigold Hotel won well on debut.
Yeah, won very impressively, beating Rain in Holland, who I think has won, hey? It doesn't say it in the computer form, but it came up and won.
Saturday. She won on Saturday in that close race with that matched horse that Uncle George backed. Yeah, look out or look throughout or something like that.
And that was quite a smooth win. But again, Nico, Marigold Hotel's got to ship 3 kilograms to Quasi's Lady. Now, the one in the first, Alec Laird, Simango Kamalo in the first is now 4 to 10 or whatever it is. I preferred the value on Quasi's Lady, particularly when it opened at 28 to 10. It's about right now, 5 to 2, 22 to 10. But I think this has got to be a runner. Because this one was fancied on debut, so it clearly shown ability. And whereas the one in the first race might have come up on them a little bit, this one probably was a bit disappointing and might have more improvement with a run under the belt. I know you're not a particularly big fan of the sire, but I think this will run very nicely. And the fact that she's getting 3 kilograms from Marigold Hotel and Bella Chica, I think it will put it in good stead. So I like Quasi's Lady, certainly for the swingers and trifectas.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the Marigold Hotel department here. I think that she's the one to beat, and I think that she is rightly priced here. I give Bella Chica a chance. A daughter of Rafif, as we know, the Rafifs have done very well this season. Raymond Danielson, interestingly, rides for the Fortune Stable, but the Fortune Stables come well in the last couple of weeks. And I'd certainly be looking at Bella Chica to run a forward race over here, but I do like Marigold Hotel. I must be honest, I'm not too keen on Quasi's Lady after looking at the form and the collateral form with the fields that Marigold Hotel and Bella Chica have run in. So I make it to between 1 and 2 here in race number 2. Right, let's go on to the start of the pick 6. That race 2 was the start of the PA. And here is the start of the pick 6 now. It's a maiden plate fillies and mares up the straight mile, Neil. Scratch number 11 is a late scratching Venus Flytrap has come out. She's had to fly away. And Venus Flytrap, a non-runner. But Amber Glow Star is the favourite here for Gavin Larena and St. John Gray. And the stable companion is the second favourite at 5 to 2. What did you see in this race?
I thought it was very thin, Nico. I think the winner will come from St. John Gray's yard. Simple as that. I initially thought, well, I'm going to try and beat these top 2. And I shopped around, but I couldn't find anything. I tried to make excuses for horses. Interesting, perhaps number 10, Amalfi Coast, could be an improver. It's a daughter of Patala Palace and Warren Kennedy rides. So it's a jockey strike from a decent draw and has shown a bit of pace. But both of those other ones are 4-year-olds. And I think one of them will be a maiden no more by, at the very latest, 2:30 today. 1 and 3, and I think probably in that order.
Yeah, I certainly fancy one Amber Glow Star, but the horse that I picked out in terms of a bit of value is the 3-year-old number 4, Watching Closely at 25 to 1, Neil, for Lucky Udalakis and Craig Zaki. I saw a bit of earlier form which I was pretty happy with. If you look back on the 17th of November, Neil, in that race, Watching Closely ran 5th to Birdwatch. It was beaten 7.5 lengths. And in that same race was a horse called Mirren, which ran 4.25 lengths behind Birdwatcher. So theoretically speaking, Mirren beat Birdwatcher by 3.25 lengths on that occasion. And we know that Mirren has come up and won again. And if you look at, it was another horse here that ran behind Mirren. I can't remember which one it was now, but be that as it may, I thought there was value at 25-1 with number 4, Watching Closely. I'll be chucking it in. St. John Grey's got another horse in the form of Party Song, Neil. So when you mentioned the fact that St. John Grey will well have a winner here, that also comes into the reckoning too. It's 7-1 Party Song. So I'm going to be on those horses, as you mentioned, with the outsider for me, Watching Closely in the 3rd. Right, we can move on to the 4th race here. And this is an MR 104 handicap over 1,800 meters. Small field here. We have to mention that at the sale yesterday of the Gary Alexander stables, number 3, Nimcha, was bought by the Hollywood Syndicate now, Neil. And Stuart Pettigrew actually bought it for the Hollywood Syndicate at 110,000 Rand, Nimcha. He's at 4-1. He's part of the betting here. Cornish Pomodoro, 18-10. Don't Look Back and Sell High in the 3-1 bracket. Nimcha 4-1 and John Hero 5-1 and Apollo Robbins 7-1. A closely matched contest, the start of the first jackpot.
Very close, Nico. I'll give my opinion in a moment. What I found quite interesting was that all of Nimcha, Sell High and Don't Look Back have unbelievable relationships with their jockeys. So if you look at Nimcha, Gavin Lorena has ridden Nimcha 5 times for 3 wins. Pierre Stradham has ridden Sell High 11 times for 4 wins and 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And 2/3. I mean, it's a remarkable record. He's only finished out of the frame once on Sell High. So they really see eye to eye. And then, of course, Simunga Kamalo on Don't Look Back has ridden it 4 times for 3 wins and a 1/3. So, and they've all got great relationships with those particular horses. But Nico, for me, the value in the race was the horse bottom of the boards. I liked Apollo Robbins as my value play. So it's a very closely handicapped race, but I liked Apollo Robbins to run into the trifectas. And I'm certainly going to be putting Apollo Robbins into my PA and my bipot.
Neil, when you mention that, it scares me because it then means that all of these horses have got a chance. And there is a lot of collateral form. The fact that Marco van Rensburg is on Johnny Hero for the first time, and he's been riding really well, Marco, when he gets the opportunities. I don't think that that's out of it either. Nimcha, as you mentioned, is now owned by the Hollywood Syndicate. So they'll be looking to get quite a bit of their 110 grand back today. And as you mentioned there, Cornish Pomodoro comes into it, Sell High, Don't Look Back, Apollo Robbins. I think this really translates into a field race. If you had to pick out a couple for the PA and the bipot, I'll just mention mine first. I'm going to go Johnny Hero, funny enough. I'm going to go Johnny Hero and Nimcha as my top 2, 2 and 3. And they're towards the bottom of the board. So with you, Apollo Robbins, who would be your second horse?
My second choice, I don't know, but it wouldn't be Cornish Pomodoro. I'm going to try and take Cornish Pomodoro on with 60 kilograms.
Yeah.
I might be wrong about that, but no, I'm actually going to banker Apollo Robbins in the PA.
Okay. So Apollo Robbins for Neil there, and I think it's tricky. And I think although it's a small field, I think any one of these 6 horses won't be out of place winning here in the opening leg of the first jackpot. Let's move on to the opening leg of the second jackpot. Now, race 5 is an MR80 handicap, 2,400 meters. Before we go on to that, just to let you know that there is a late scratching in the first race, number 5, Let's Do It, Neil. That Stephen Moffat horse has come out, insufficient recovery time. I'm not surprised with that, but that has come out in the first race. So we move on to race 5 here. And here, Fred is the favorite. There's been money for Fred, for St. John Grand Muzieni to 22-10. Bold Resolve and Ushuaia are both at 4-1, with Master and Man at 5-1. And again, Master and Man is now with the Fortune stable. Faisal Vahab has bought this horse for 55,000 Rand and now runs in his colours with that sale having taken place yesterday afternoon. By the way, the Alexanders, Neil, are not getting out altogether just yet. I think they're probably here for about another month. I understand, speaking to Alistair Cohen, that they've got about 10, 11 horses left that have been identified to go to trainers, hence they weren't on the sale. So they'll just move trainers, but they will keep those 10 horses until they go. So they're around for a bit longer than just giving up automatically now. They did have their sale yesterday, but they will race about 10 horses in their stable for the next few weeks or so before they depart. And we'd like to have one final conversation, I think, between us and them before they leave, and hopefully we'll bump into them at the sales. But here, Fred, 22-10, I thought that was skinny. As you know, I am a Fred man, but I don't know about the trip for Fred, 2,400 meters. I'm a bit wary of the fact that he'll go the distance.
Yeah, I'm also shocked to see the betting, Nico. I mean, I gave Fred a chance, but I didn't see it as a 22-10 favourite, or even a 3-1 favourite, to be honest. I think, like you, it's a very open contest. I think Baraka's got the blinkers off, which is interesting. So I think it's wide. I'll ask you your opinion because the Weed Eater's back.
Okay, well, yeah, so I made it, again, a very open contest over here, Neil. I was particularly interested in the 3-year-olds going over the 2,400 meters, both Bold Resolve and Ushuaia. I think that both of them will get the trip. I'm not too sure which one I'd fancy more. Maybe I'd lean a bit towards Ushuaia today because I liked his finishing effort last time out. As you know, Parmesan's Pride ran second in the Derby to Malmoose. And those 2 runs to Parmesan's Pride for Ushuaia are pretty decent. Bold Resolve did finish behind Ushuaia, but there's a bit of weight turnaround. I think it's in the region of 1.5 kilos. Cash Time, Neil, I've been a bit befuddled with him, but his form over the distance has been pretty good, and I wouldn't completely outrule him. And then there's Master and Man, who effectively runs for the Alexanders, even though Ashley Fortune's now the printed trainer, will effect from today. And I was stiff last time out because I liked him, and he was a huge price. He was 20 or 22-1. He ran second to Don't Look Back. He was beaten a length, but I think that he has to go into the mix again, Master and Man, with Gavin Lorena. And again, they could look for a quick return back on their 55,000 that they spent yesterday on securing the Son of a Wait, the Dawn. But I made it a bit muddling. Ushuaia, Bold Resolve for me. I'd be rather into the 4-1, the 22-10 Fred, and then of the older horses, probably Master and Man, Neil, again at 5-1.
Has Barak got too much weight for you still, Nico? I know you used to like him.
Yes, I think he does. I looked at the weight turnarounds, Neil, and I prefer other 61 kilos is a bit of a long haul. Funny if I fancy him on the Turfentine inside track more than I'd fancy him at the Vaal with that long straight. I don't know. I think he may have a short run in, Neil. So I'm not terribly keen on Barak, even though I've been a Barak fan. But it sounds like you might be going for him.
No, I don't like the race. I think it's open. So I'm going to shop around for a result. I like your 2 3-year-olds, Bold Reserve and Ushuaia. Ushuaia was drawn poorly the last 2 and is now drawn 2. I think he'll run a really nice race. But I see it very wide. You know, I look at the horses further down the handicap, and I think they could be a surprise. So I don't like the race, and I'm going to take on Fred. Yeah, I think Fred's the wrong price.
Yeah. I think it's too skinny for me at 22-10. Like you say, if you go further down the page, you'll find horses like Afrod, you'll find French Leave, and you'll find Oris Apollo. You know, so this race is tricky. I don't think, you know, for me, Ushuaia, I'm leaning towards Ushuaia as my top choice. And then of the older horses, Master and Man. But I don't know if there's value in Fred at 22-10. As we move on to race 6 now at 4 o'clock. This is very open. Again, a fillies and mares 72 handicap. It's over 1,000 meters. I'm just going to look for a few changes. While I do that, if there's any late changes here, what do you fancy?
I've got a complete dog here. Well, I shouldn't be disrespectful. I hope it isn't a dog because I backed it. And I can declare that I backed it last night when I saw what price it was. So I actually backed it with soccershop.bet, but I'm going to have to ask you, Nico, to go further down.
Is it this horse here?
Yes, Illa de Varlet.
Yeah.
I think 33 to 1 is very good value, and not so much for the win, although I have backed it to win, but I've taken basically the 9 to 2 a place, because you get first 4 places, and the reason being, Nico, that Illa de Vartlet was a 99 at one stage. It's now a 66. So you can work out for yourself, that's 36 points.
Yeah.
Sorry, 33 points. 33 points
33
plus
points, yeah.
Collar Jacobs gets the 4 kilograms off and is drawn 16, which I think is going to be in her favor. But she's also been campaigning earlier on last year, June, July, August, September time, in merit rated 92s, 94s, 96s, 95s. This is a 72 handicap. So I know she's been struggling a little bit, but she does like this distance. The last run I'm going to ignore completely because she's never really been a 6 furlong filly anyway. So I'm ignoring that. Plus she was drawn 1. And if I take that out, then, you know, she's been there or thereabouts and the handicap has helped her, and hopefully Colin Jacobs can help us. So that's my whole value play on the day, Nico. Race 6, number 8, Illa de Vartlet.
So very interesting you mentioned that. I'm a bit concerned, obviously, with the apprentices, and you know, sometimes you know, you take your life in their hands, and sometimes they don't do as well as you think. But I mean, that comes with the territory, as we've mentioned on the show ad nauseum. You know, you take it. You know, you don't complain afterwards. So we tend to complain, but I mean, at the end of the day, you know what you're getting. So I think I agree with you. I think that's definitely the value horse in the race. Illa de Vartlet, 33 to 1 to win, 4.29 a place on form. It does come up very often on the radar here. Lagatha is the favorite at 4 to 1. I think she'll go well again today. She's from a 1 draw. She's very quick. So I have no doubt that Kamalo will get her out and running. The last time Kamalo rode her, she kicked the back gate, Neil, and she was slow away. And I think she would have gone closer to Hear the Trumpet. Thankfully, that day, Hear the Trumpet, which we tipped at a big price, held on to win under the apprentice. Hear the Trumpet is back in the race, I think, isn't it? In this one, no. It is. Yeah, it's number 10. And Collar Jacobs did us a favor. So maybe he might do us another favor here on Illa de Vartlet for the same yard, David Nevenhazen. Neil, I've got a short list of 5 horses that I want to give out. And I do give Lagatha a chance today if she jumps away well, which I have no reason that she won't do. Last time out, Luke Ferraris was looking around at the 400 and the 200 for the opposition and ended up getting nabbed and finishing 5th. But I think she's better than that. So Lagatha was one of them. The other one was Illa de Vartlet. Then the Villa Grand, Neil, number 9, interests me because they've got blinkers on. They put blinkers on the filly today. It's a late change. So I'd be putting that in. Roxolana, Neil, the 13, has come up time and time again for us. And she's got an inside draw, which is probably against her, but I'd like to put in. And then the top weight, carefully, Neil, even though she has to ship all the weight around, when she's come back from rest, she runs really well. And her 2 runs coming back from the rest have been good. And she has been off for 4 months. So only because she runs well fresh would I like to stick her in. But I'm with you on the value. There's no doubt about that with Illa de Vartlet.
Okay, yeah. Let's hope Collar Jacobs has got off the 1 to ride a good race on the other one. I'm interested you like Roxolana. So do I. That would be my second roughie in the race.
Yeah. Okay, on to the 7th race. The fillies and mares 88 handicap. It's over 1,000 meters. There is a scratching here. Number 1, All of Me is out of the 7th race. And that's the change over there. And this fillies and mares 88 handicap. The floor is yours.
Yeah, All of Me out because I think of the merit rating change. It won again and absolutely
bolted
trotted out.
Yeah.
Oh. Which we did like, actually. We mentioned her. We said she looked well in.
We mentioned her, and it was her first run over 1,400 meters, Neil. And now maybe the pendulum may swing around for her because the Spice Yard may be saying, well, look, we'll put her over further now because she did win. It was her best win yet.
Yeah, it was. I mean, she was unbelievable. And I'm not surprised they've taken her out today because this is 1,000. And I think they've worked out, as you say, maybe at her age, she might prefer the longer trips.
Before you go here, there's 2 horses in the race, or maybe 3, that we keep on banging on about. And one of them in particular has a senior rider on today. and it got lost last time out when we liked it. But that's the horse I'm leaning towards, actually, again.
Who? See You Tiger?
No, Ulla.
Oh, Ulla. Uh, yeah, I mean, Nico, they're 5-year-old mares, both of these two, Ula and See You Tiger. And yeah, I don't know whether I have the energy to go back to that well again. Mind you, that came back to haunt us with Romeo's Magic, who both of us fancied the previous two occasions.
Yeah.
And we were left behind, whereas our good friend Daryl Marie said, but guys, it's a 2-time winner without a penalty. And he was right, because we had touched on the previous rides and Gavin Arena took over. So maybe you're on the right thing. I'm certainly not going to leave them out of my play, either number 7 Ula or number 8 See You Tiger, but I think it's a very competitive race. There's money for May Queen, Glotoria, Herstel. I don't like the race. I mean, it is a fillies race. I'm going to go a bit wider and make sure I don't go out there. But I don't really have a first choice, Nico. But I'm happy to row in with Ula again.
Yeah.
Because we have, as you say, been watching her closely.
Yeah, we've been watching her closely. And I think with that Pettigrew stable having turned around as well, I think that would be my horse in the race, number 7, Ulla. I give chances to Estelle. I'm not necessarily, although I've been in May Queen's camp quite often, I don't think 16-10 offers any value there. I prefer Glotoria to May Queen, to be honest. But I'm Ulla's camp, and as you say, right down at the bottom, the fact that Muzi Yeni, which is clearly a jockey strike on See You Tiger, and Matched and Yeni have done really well. I'm thinking that could be the overall value at 12-1, but Ulla is my first choice in the penultimate. And as we move on to the last race of the day now, Neil, one of our favorite races, a classified stakes. It's over 1,400 meters. Just to quickly update you here, there's been a couple of scratchings. Number 11 Hertog and 13 Forever Light are both now out. So both the Fani Broncos horses have been scratched due to having temperature, which is a pity. I preferred the latter, Forever Light, to Hertog, obviously. But now it's 2 less to contend with. That brings Miss Khalifa and Soul of Wit, Neil, into the race. Miss Khalifa will be the ride of Chase Jean now, and Soul of Wit is without a rider. So those are the changes in the last race of the day. And again, this favorite is the one that comes up as a horse that is our nemesis, Afternoon Tea. Nearly won last time. I went for it last time. You decided to jump off the boat. But it did get rolled. It got beat on the line. Shouldn't have lost, really.
Yeah, you particularly had money on it, and you were watching it, and you said it was drawn up the inside, came up the outside, and one more stride, absolutely took off. But Nico, you've always said about this horse that its game is sprinting.
Yeah.
But now it's back over 1,400. I mean, isn't that a concern for you again?
It is. It is back to being a concern again, that they pushed it back up to 1,400. I've put here a big question mark distance. And even though, again, it runs on over 1160, and I think, funny enough, it prefers the Turffontein Straight to the Vaal Straight. I'll go on record as saying that. But I think it prefers Turffontein. So again, it's one of those argumentative horses that will come up time and time again. It is drawn 3, Neil, which means that Piers Stratham will know what happened last time out. He'll be wanting to, keep it in a clearer passage towards the outside, but 1,400 meters, a concern. A concern. Has a chance, but it's a concern. And it's a very wide open race, Neil. My first choice has to be the second horse in the betting, Golden Spoon. I watched its last run. It ran second to Evening Rise last week, exactly a week ago. And that was over 1,500 meters. It comes back down in trip, and I was happy with what I saw. Not drawn particularly well at 6. So again, Wai Shong Mowing, another senior rider, will have to work his way towards the outside, I think, here. But I preferred Golden Spoon to Afternoon Tea. It may come back and bite me, but this didn't end there. There were horses that ran, that have been running well and that have got big chances. But again, the question mark is the fillies, Neil. In classified stakes races, the fillies get a sex allowance of 2 kilograms, and it does swing it in their favor. So of the fillies, the top 2, Afternoon Tea, Golden Spoon, and Speechmaker, funny enough, which is down here at 6-1 with Luke Ferraris aboard, I think have the key to the race.
Yeah, I was looking at Speechmaker as well, and now going 1400. Now she's only a 4-year-old, but she hasn't gone this trip before. Oh, actually, she has.
She
She's
has.
run
She
from
has done it before. Correct. Yeah.
but she was a bit younger. I don't know. I mean, she could be very well in at 56 and being a filly in this lineup, and Luke Ferraris riding. I mean, if you put Battle Force in this race, which she ran second to at the penultimate start, I mean, Battle Force would be 4 to 10.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to respect Speechmaker, and I think that's probably the horse I'm going to be going towards for my PA and for swingers. Against my better judgment, I like a male horse here. I don't know if he might need one more, but I'm going to keep him safe today just in case he does run well, and that's number 10, Midnight Badger. I think he's a nice horse, this. I think that he'll do okay for the Hyperpaint boys up here in Johannesburg, but he might just need the one run. He's drawn 18. He's had the one Turfentine run, which was average, but he's also going to benefit from a senior rider. He's had a few other riders in his career. He's had Devon Ashby, Tarantal, Jacobs, and Dickon, all of which are okay. They're capable, but you know, Warren Kennedy at the end of the day is a champion jockey. And I think there might be some improvement to come for number 10, Midnight Badger. But like you, Nico, I didn't think that it was straightforward. So for me, place accumulator-wise, I'm definitely going to throw in a few.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the question mark is the fillies over here. My first choice is Golden Spoon, number 6. I obviously give chances to Afternoon Tea, to Speechmaker. For that reason, Miss Khalifa, who comes into the race now, I think will be another runner. The 17, she was a reserve, so watch the 17 Miss Khalifa, because she's also a mare and she comes in with 56 kilos over here. Of the colts, Neil, I'm not sure who I'd end up going for. Probably Canetra, because it's improved with the gelding, Neil, and we've been in his camp a few times, but he beat Southern Song, who came out and won by 9 lengths in the the race subsequent run, Southern Song. So maybe Canetra of the colts at 13 to 2. But that's we'll wrap it up for us over here. Apart from the fact that, you know, we're not forced into giving a price booster today, but do you want to? Or would you rather leave it for Saturday?
Well, what is there? What would be, I mean, we can't really go tipping our 33 to 1 shot because, you know, that doesn't need a price boost. It's already 33 to 1.
Well, that's why I was saying to you, I mean, we're not beholden to giving a price booster. So I'm actually tending to say, well, let's leave it for Saturday, Neil, okay, and let's give it a bit of a break. You know, our form is a bit wishy-washy. So let's come back into form and put our head down on Saturday and come up with a price booster for Saturday. So that just gives the public more opportunity to gather their rands and cents together and come back on Saturday, where we'll hopefully put you into a good price booster for the weekend racing action. Neil, thanks very much as always. You and I will be well on the sales ground, I suspect, within the next few days, scouting around there and starting our duties over there. But we look forward to Saturday racing. And then just a reminder, Nino Podesta, the ever popular Nino Podesta, will be on air for tonight, for tomorrow, tipping for the racing down at Fairview. Thanks, Neil.
Thanks, Nico.